Cool.
So I believe this is a B team match.
Yes. B team. We
So-
have.
Melonmonkey versus Rock should be.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen Rock play. Maybe once. He was definitely a newer addition to the league, so I'm excited to see what he can bring. I know Melonmonkey's a fairly decent B teamer.
Yeah, and we are here on Talcross as a TVZ. So your Protoss skills are going to come in handy here.
Oh, for sure. How do you feel about this map, ZVT?
You know, ZVT is all about the third gas for the Zerg, just generally. If you're playing the standard meta, I suppose, and there's not a good place really to take it with just a couple lurkers, so it's tough. It's pretty tough.
Yeah.
That said, there's definitely options, and you know, mutas are strong on this map, as we've seen some CPL players abuse. There's a lot of opportunity for them to move around safely around mineral lines. So there's pros and cons. It could go either way.
Yeah, definitely with the big bases and the cliffs and stuff. But we may as well introduce our players here. So spawning on the left here of Tower Cross, we got Ardent, aka Melonmonkey from Team Beast.
And down here on the bottom, we have Rock, the blue Terran for team No1CareThat.
All right.
So nothing crazy yet. We don't have the 5 pull coming out. We don't have the 8 racks. So that's always a good sign. You know, best of 1, that format does encourage cheese a little bit more than a best of 3. So I'm happy to see that we are getting more of a standard map here.
For sure, like when it's all on the line, especially if you're uncomfortable with the matchup or your opponent, you may be more inclined to try some kind of a cheese, thinking, you know, that might be the way you can win it. But I'm glad to see, you know, people are playing standard. I mean, that's, you know, what the league's about, helping people improve and stuff. So
yeah, and it shows confidence. Shows that they feel like they've learned enough, you know, to play that straight up game and win it.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to see what kind of styles they want to play. If, you know, Ardent wants to go for lurkers or mutas, and if Rock wants to do something like racks expand, or is he going to do some kind of early pressure?
Yeah, I think mutas are so strong in this map. It's a little more typical to see Zerg go for the mutas, but with that said, mutas are just generally harder to play with than lurkers. So if you're just not comfortable with your muta game, I can see you just defaulting to lurker in this matchup, especially as you're learning it, which a lot of B teamers are. This is a fast 12 hatch, which is a little risky on this map, since that choke can be blocked with a supply depot, but luckily for him, Rock is going to be in no position to do any sort of aggressive move like that.
Mm-hmm. For sure. He is going to scout the Zerg first and see this 12 hatch.
We got Gorgo in chat, fellow co-caster, saying playing standard is for scrubs, so I can't wait to cast your match, Gorgo. It's coming up.
Yeah, well, I know I was helping him work on, I guess we can get a little bit more when we get to his match, but I was helping him work on a build, so we can talk about that a little bit.
We have a gas steal coming out from Rock. That is interesting, especially versus the 12 hatch. You know, you're potentially delaying the layer timing by doing this, but if they just get the, you know, the extractor over here at the natural, you haven't really done anything. And this timing is so early. Like, I don't know if Ardent was going for a 3 hatch build and just been harassed by this SCV enough to delay it. I would assume that's what's going on here, and it is getting a little late. So Rock has delayed him a decent amount with this, but if you look, Rock's spending has gone up as well. So Rock has thrown off his own build by trying to focus on this SCV so much. And in the end, they're probably going to be about even.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to know. Like, sure, it's good to harass with your scouting SCV, your own probe, whatever, but you don't want to do it at the cost of your own build. Make sure you're still hitting your own timings, rather. Like, sure, it's nice maybe you get a kill or distract your opponent, but if you're distracting yourself at the same time, you're not really gaining anything from it.
I would say they're even, but we're still on 2 hatches for Ardent, and that's a really big deal. You know, a 2 hatch build requires, you know, really fast gas, really fast tech to have any advantage. 3 hatch, you need that larva. The time to drone, the time to get an army to defend, like, every larva is precious, and by delaying that 3rd hatch by quite a bit, that's like a minute, that's a lot of larva that Zerg's never going to get back. So, you know, Rock got up to 500 minerals. His CC at the natural was a little bit late. He spent 100 minerals to get that that extractor blocked for a little while, but Ardent lost a ton of larva, so I think it worked out for Rock.
Yeah, overall for sure. And he's comfortable just taking the CC here. You know, don't have to worry about block. He knows there's no like a big Zergling all-in coming at the moment. His SCV has died now, so Ardent could be producing some Zerglings behind this, but as we can tell, he's not. He's just gonna, you know, poke out with a couple of links, see what Rock's up to.
Right, but that's a perfect example of what kind of damage that larva does. You know, there's really no chance that they have enough Zerglings here. That SCV was scouting for a while, so he was very confident that most of those larvae were being used as drones. But the production of that hatchery, like, it should have been done a while ago. Should have produced at least 2-3 larvae. That's at least 6 Zergling if you wanted to go for that. And we see Ardent's spending is going up because he just hasn't had the larvae he would expect to have.
We'll have to see if he makes up for that in some other way, or what he plans to do next. He does have this lair almost done, so I would expect to see him going for some mutas here, because he does have those 2 gases mining, and he doesn't have a Hydralisk den down here.
Yeah, the Hydra Den would have to have been put down a lot earlier than this if that was his plan, and we do see now the Spire is started. So good, we're going to see some Muta play, which is placed to the map quite well. And it's going to be interesting to see the level of control. You know, Mutas are a completely different unit depending on what level your control is and what level your opponent's control is. So that is going to be a determining factor here in this match. We also see the drone coming out to try to take this main base third, which is a good option because you can actually put lurkers here. You know, any of the outside of a main bases, you can't defend with single or double lurkers. So I like this choice. Decently timed too. It's going to be early. It's a little risky, but it shows that Ardent's looking to take this into late game if he can.
And if he can hold it and get that advantage, it'll, you know, make up a little bit more economy, get our larva a little bit sooner. His money is going up a little bit, but I guess that's just banking for Muta, so it shouldn't be too bad.
So Rock's been executing his build pretty well. We are now up to 4 racks, and his production's been decent. He's been spending very well. The one thing I would like to see, I heard the scans go down, and he should know the timing of that Spire, but his turrets are a little bit early. You really want to be using your scan to kind of determine what the tech path is, but also the tech timing. And it's fine to have this many turrets, really, especially at this level. It's insurance, but by putting them this early, honestly, if I was Rock, I would have gone for, you know, maybe a minute later turrets, because these mutas were delayed by a decent amount, and that money can be spent on that 5th barracks, on more Marines. All of that stuff can be much earlier.
Yeah, and it just gives you a stronger army going into the mid game.
We have some stray medics here. This is a little dangerous. Early medics are very important to keep alive, and Ardent's gonna pounce on him. Actually, he is gonna get him. Doesn't kill him, just barely saves. So nice reaction from Rock. Need to make sure you keep your medics safe. That early energy is very important versus the mutas.
Yeah, he's gonna lose a little bit of energy to healing up his medics, but other than that, it should be okay. We do have the mutas coming in now. We have 6 mutas. Okay, 3 more coming, so 4 more coming. So we're gonna have 10 mutas. We'll have to see how the control is. I mean, Rock is well defended with turrets. I don't know if he's gonna find much damage there, but he could certainly get like over the barracks and produce or kill any Marines coming out, or look for some other places to hit.
Yeah, that's the thing as a Zerg player, you know, if a Terran has invested into this many turrets, you can't harass these positions anymore. If there's M&M and 4 turrets, that's the end of that. You can still use your mutas to defend your third by harassing these balls that come out with Mutaling. And you can find the holes, because if Terran's invested in that many turrets everywhere, then they're just behind. So chances are that there's a spot that you can harass, which in this case would be the barracks, as Laser Snipe pointed out. So scout around before you really invest in trying to get that damage done. Don't just attack the first thing you see.
Yeah, for sure. We actually do see Ardent has a little bit of a supply lead here too. I don't know if that's normal after you get mutas. I don't think it is.
No,
but
it's not.
It's usually behind, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Rock has cut SCVs, and actually looking at his min lines, that is definitely the case. So, you know, he's been executing his build pretty well up until that point, I think. Just cutting his SCVs a little bit early is making him too poor to get his engine going. That's why that 5th Rax was late. That's why the 2nd eBay is late. That's why some of his tech is coming out now. And that's going to give Arden a lot of breathing room in this match.
Yeah, for sure. So just a note on that, make sure you're continually producing SCVs and probes for quite a while as Protoss or Terran. It's different for Zerg, obviously, because you got to, make that choice of do you want units or do you want drones. But
Yep. And we do have a push coming out from Rock. This is going into the place with less lurkers, which is good, but there are a lot of Zerglings coming back. Although they're coming in single file here.
Oh,
this is
no.
a real waste of Zerglings. Okay, Ardent does save them. That is really important. He needs to keep these ready to backstab. Although Rock is going for the kill.
What is going on?
The melee rage, they're all just both on move command.
They're both on move command. What is going on? There could have been a lot of free damage for either of them.
Yeah, absolutely. The first person to blink there wins the game, basically. You can kill a lot of army. But as it is, the force is going to be deterred from the front. Lurkers are at both. I spelled Ardent wrong. Oh no, well it's not his real name. I'll fix that real quick.
Rock's making the right moves here. He's continuing to look around on the map with his Bioforce, seeing if there's anywhere he can poke at, do some damage, maybe deny a base. Although it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Ardent's pretty well defended at both of his fronts here. He's got 4 lurkers at this 3rd base here, and if Rock isn't careful, he could just run. Okay, he does notice and pull back.
Yeah, lost a few Marines there, managed to save the bulk of them. This is pretty aggressive to be trying to poke into that with mutas. You can certainly find some stragglers, but when the Marines are retreating into that ball, you got to pull back. So Ardent's managed to secure his 3rd, which is the big deal in a ZVT. He's also got a really nice hive timing. And does he actually have the Defiler Mound ready? Yes, this is really good tech timing out from Ardent. His build was delayed early, but he's getting into that hive mode very comfortably here.
At the same time, though, we see Rock loading up a couple of dropships just over his natural, so it looks like he's going to be thinking about putting on some pressure here and maybe doing, a big M&M drop and taking out a bunch of stuff while he's got his first 2 vessels building as well.
Yeah, I love that move. For all the same reasons that mutas are effective on this map, drops are also very effective. And we do have a Scouter Zergling here. I don't know if he actually saw that. If Ardent's prepared for this, then he's going to be great. He actually does have Scourge patrolling his sides, so if he can catch those dropships, that's a big win. But I love the move from Rock to try to get this done.
Yeah, he kind of going through the middle of the map there, which is a bit risky. Zerg units could be around the middle of the map, but he does manage to find a hole into the Zerg base. He starts to unload, and he does get them out.
But he's going to get a full unload. And this is going to kill the Defiler Mound, it looks like. Going to target that nice move out from Rock. That is really big. Kill the Queen's Nest as well. Not the biggest deal. Evos are a lot bigger. And I like how Ardent isn't just attack moving into this. He's waiting to get all together, sending in his Mutaling at 1. So that's some good tech damage, but he is going to clean this up without taking any damage to his drones. Oh, actually going to survive barely. Medic's pretty strong.
Yeah, the Zerg will clean this up anyway, but he did lose I think it was melee attack upgrade that was at the Evo, not to mention his Defiler Mound, so he's going to have to rebuild that. He does have a couple Defilers out, so he's not at immediate risk of dying to having no Defilers.
Well, the question is, did Consume complete? I don't think it did, just based on the timing of that drop, even if Ardent had started that immediately. I doubt it's completed. So there is a bit of a window that he's at risk. These Defiers will naturally get 100 energy at some point, but it's a very small window. We can see one actually has 84 energy right now. These Niduses plus a couple of Defilers out, the drop coming into the 2nd base here, but they're going to have to snipe that Nidus real fast. And there's actually 2 Scourge waiting for them as well.
Yeah, that one dropship is only 1 Scourge from death too. He could have definitely picked off at least one of those dropships with those Scourge and Hydra there. But he is going to get the unload from one of the dropships. The other one actually still has 6 units in it and isn't unloading them. Guess just a bit of a mistake there. He didn't actually unload. But he is going to get into the drone line and kill a few things. We do see the swarm.
We do have 1 swarm. Yep. So there was an Irradiant on one of the Defilers, but the 2nd one did have a swarm. And he's going to clean this up without too many losses. So Rock's trying to be as aggressive as possible with these dropships, which I love. But Ardent is defending very well. He's got to watch his spending at this point. He really needs to keep his production up. But this is the tough part of ZVT, where you just have bases across the map, and you're trying to get your tech and units out at the same time. It's tough.
Yeah, there is a command center here started for Rock, but that one scouter zergling from earlier picked it off, and it's about half done, and he hasn't sent another SCV to go finish it off. And actually, his saturation is extremely low in the natural. He actually only has one SCV per patch.
Oh wow. Yeah, his main isn't really that good either, and it will be mined out fairly soon. So SCV count is a big problem for Rock here. His spending is decent, but it just doesn't have the... Oh my god, what is this medic trade? No! Oh, that is brutal. Just a second of miscontrol there, and now this small force in the middle of the map is completely useless without those medics. We do have the double dropship still moving around. There could kill a lot of drones here, but there's a good deal of units right next to it, so as long as Ardent reacts in time, you should be fine.
Nice drop location. He does have a couple of defilers here.
Wow, a lot of drones going down.
Consume is done now, but he hasn't used it swarm yet, which I would love to have seen.
Yeah, this is the time where you consume an overlord. We do actually have one of those dropships finally going down. We don't have any dark swarm, so these lurkers could get taken out potentially with good enough control. One swarm comes down, but all those drones died. So a nice attack out from Rock. That is going to put him in an okay position, but that third being so delayed is a really big deal.
For sure. Nice attack there by Rock. I mean, he got a lot done with it. He shows that he knows like the right moves to make. He's making the right moves. If he was on top of his macro with more SCVs and more production facilities, he'd be pretty strong, I think.
Yeah, he's continually doing some damage, killing more drones. So this is great stuff. This one dropship remaining has just been so annoying. Really should be going for some tech here. I doubt he's going to kill the hive, but he is targeting it. So best of luck, sir. Oh, Ardent GGs.
Oh, there's battle cruisers.
Oh my goodness.
Over at the 4th of Zerg. I didn't even notice he was making any of those.
I completely missed the battle cruisers. I saw the 2 starport, I saw a couple science vessels, I figured this was SK. I completely missed the battle cruisers. That is actually funny.
Oh, I did see the physics lab earlier, but it didn't clue in that he was actually... Okay.
That is funny. Honestly, I still don't know if it was over. With Dark Swarm and Scourge, you can clean these battle cruisers up. And, you know, Rock was about to mine out of his main. He was going to get his third up, so he was going to be comfortably on 2 bases, and this drop was doing a ton of damage, so I do feel Ardent's pain. I don't know if it was over.
Yeah. Especially from us as the caster point of view, we can see how low Rock's economy was overall, too. Ardent wouldn't have known that, but even in the game from his position, I agree with you. Like, I wouldn't necessarily have GG'd here.
Yeah, and... honestly, this is the tough part, is macroing a Zerg in that stage of the game is so hard. There's just so much to deal with. But if Ardent had kept his money a little bit lower, then these drops wouldn't have been so effective. So I think that's something to look at for both these players. Just try to keep that macro going. I think for Rock it was SCVs, and for Ardent it's spending once you have that third base going.
Sure.